I can say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to meet together as a group. Please help us that we can discuss the things that we need to, and that we might be able to work together well, and that we can be able to finish the things that we need for our project. And we are grateful for thee, and we see these things humbly in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Okay, so did you guys have a chance to read the article?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing it wants us to talk about is that situation at the end when Merton's about to get called into her manager's office to talk about firing that guy that had those compliance issues and didn't follow the safety instructions. So what position would you guys advocate for in that meeting?
Well, it did say that it was like his third offense that year, but it didn't necessarily say that he got a formal reprimand. Kind of like it didn't say that he actually got like written up for it. It just says that he was warned. So I mean, it's kind of hard to say just because, yeah, he was being stupid and wasn't paying attention to the safety procedures, but it didn't necessarily get formally written up for those other 3 times or 2 times.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think if he had been written up and there had been documentation about it, then I would probably lean towards letting him go. But if that hasn't been done, then he's probably going to have to start with that, writing him up.
Yeah, so how serious do you think the actual offense itself was?
I think it was
Well, it
pretty.
sounded like the guy was really hurt. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Megan. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was trying to remember. Didn't it say like his shoulder was dislocated or something, and like
Hand and forearm, 2nd-degree burns.
yeah.
Yeah, do you guys feel like it was enough negligence on his name is Steppen?
I think his first name was Ned, though.
Yeah, Ned. Do you guys think there was enough negligence on Ned's part to warrant a firing on the spot? Or do you guys think it would be more appropriate to actually give him a formal warning and like maybe some punishment or something?
I would lean more towards like unpaid leave.
Okay.
But then again, you can't necessarily put all the responsibility on Ned, even though he's a supervisor, because they want to make it to where every employee understands that their safety is in their own hands.
Yeah, that's true. Perfect. So it wants us to split into 3 groups. There are 4 of us, so that'll be good. The first group in the article, there's some exhibits at the end, and the first group, it says they want to have 2 people, and I'm not sure how we're going to split up into groups. So actually, it'll be better if one person does each of the next 2. And so the first group, it wants us to compare exhibits 3 and 7 to answer the question, when safety improves, does productivity decrease? So there's a bunch of numbers that we're supposed to run to find the correlation. And I did those on Excel already, so I can be in group 1. So it won't take as long for you guys to do that. So I can just talk about it with someone real quick. And then group 2, someone can volunteer. You need to look at exhibit 5 and figure out which injury numbers are improving, as in they're going down, and which are going up. So who wants to be group 2?
I can take
I can
that
do
one.
it.
No.
James got
Go
it.
ahead. Okay, I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay, James. So yeah, you're going to look at exhibit 5 and figure out which injury numbers are improving, going down, and which are going up, and categorize the type of injuries that are improving compared with the types that are not.
Okay.
if that makes sense. And I'll share my screen really quick so that you guys can see that. Can you see that, James?
Yeah, I can see it. So figure out which injuries numbers are going down and which ones are going up.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then I guess kind of like find a correlation between them. And then
Which
Adam or Megan, you're going to be looking at Exhibit 6. Go through the list of sample injuries and look for common themes and causes. What can you learn about safety at Mission Valley from this list?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. And then while they're working on that, Megan, I'll show you the spreadsheet that I did. So it wants us to look at Exhibits 3 and 7, divide the total number of work items they accomplished by the total hours, essentially to see, to get this number to basically measure the overall productivity. Can you see that spreadsheet, Megan?
Yeah.
So so this is the percentage over the years of productivity. So they slowly get more productive as time goes by. And then let me go to number 7. And then number 7, the total amount of work they complete. I'm sorry, the number of injuries that they have on average slowly are going down as well. The only kind of discrepancy is with some of these 1991 numbers. Like the injuries go up a little bit, but the productivity still continues to go up. But for the most part, it looks like the correlation is that as the injuries go down, the productivity goes up.
Awesome.
Some of these injuries are hilarious. I mean, it's bad to say, but it's just like people are idiots.
And then let me know when you guys are ready to kind of present what you found. Yeah, when I saw that we were splitting into groups, I was like, oh shoot, we have like 3 people that aren't going to make it. So I hope we have enough people to do 3 groups.
I'm using it here.
Did he email and say he can't make it?
No.
Oh no, he didn't.
Maybe it was federal jury duty again.
Huh. And I have I did my part for the project. How much are we missing for that still?
I just need to put in my part. I'm almost done with it, and then we need the
All of
introduction.
problem 1 still. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to do the introduction and the conclusion.
Yeah, Adam said he's doing the intro and the conclusion. I edited the one Quincy sent out. That was the second one. Is that what you guys are putting yours on too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, James or Adam, are either of you ready to kind of talk about what you found?
Yep.
I can go first here if you'd like. So looking at it, it looks like all injuries kind of went down, and quite drastically in a lot of them. A lot of them are kind of categorized as just basic things like positioning, awareness, things like that. And then there's more serious ones with machinery, and putting it away, locking it up. And so a lot of these injuries seem to be just a lack of having posted signs or training, and just kind of failure to follow direction if that was ever given. And so it looks like implementing the training and things like that really started to reduce it. It's gone down drastically.
That's good. What about you, Adam?
A lot of the injuries actually kind of went along two different lines. One of them was with what they wear. So, like for example, if you force everyone to wear steel-toed boots and burn-resistant clothing, then you just lost 50% of the injuries. And then the other one was like always wearing a hard hat, um, and then if there's a spill, is that putting up a sign or cleaning up that spill as quickly as possible, because it seems like these people are always slipping on things. And that's pretty much what it was. So it's just like cleaning up spills and changing like drastically what they have to wear at all times, kind of thing, to make it. And I swear, like literally 50 to 70% of the injuries would go away.
Yeah, I guess they just kind of get lazy with what they need to wear and different safety procedures. So, are you guys surprised that that productivity goes up? Oh, sorry. Did you guys listen to me when I was talking to Megan about what I found for step one, or for our group?
Sorry, man, I wasn't.
No, it's okay. So essentially, it wanted us to find out the total number of work that is done, like how many hours it takes per ton of steel of aluminum to do a job, and the correlation over time is that as productivity or as safety issues have decreased, the amount of productivity has gone up, actually. So why do you guys think that there's that positive correlation with, or I guess it'd be a negative correlation, as safety issues decrease, the productivity goes up?
Well, like one example was they created separate walkways,
Mhm.
separate sitting areas and whatever. So that could have been it. One where like less people in the way to where they could continually do the job versus having to wait and whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting how they said I think they capped the speed at like 4 miles an hour instead of what they could normally do, like 11 to 15. And I think he said it reduced like maintenance on them and parts costs and things. And so productivity kind of started to go up just because you were able to continuously work without worrying about broken equipment. So it's kind of interesting how that happened.
And I think another thing is when you're wearing safety equipment, you almost like you're not as worried about like what you're doing, so you go a little bit faster. If that makes sense. Like if you're wearing a hard hat or you're wearing burn resistant clothing or something like that, while you're doing the work, you're not quite as concerned about, okay, am I being super careful because I have protection, so that you don't really have to like, oh, if something does happen, I'm protected and that won't be a big of a deal. But if you don't have any protection, you'd be super cautious, do everything kind of slow just to make sure that you don't burn your hand or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So what type of problems do you guys think are the easiest to solve when it comes to safety issues, and which ones do you think are the most expensive or most inexpensive?
I would say clothing is probably the easiest to solve and most inexpensive.
And I think training would be a big one also. doesn't cost anything besides time and just telling them what they need to do.
That's true. And I also think, like they talked about observing people and making sure they're actually wearing their safety goggles and being, what's the word I'm looking for? Using best safety practices. I think if there was a way, and I know they have like the safety committee, but if there was a good way to monitor that on a daily basis, I mean, they talked about having the line managers be more involved in the safety processes. If you could monitor that more on a daily basis, just those simple things, that's free pretty much. You just have people being more aware, and if they know they're being monitored for safety issues, then chances are they'll do that more.
I would say giving different responsibilities to the supervisors as well, because the one woman said that when they have to watch for safety, the supervisor would just get someone else to do the job because they're just going to do it without trying to be watched or whatever else. But if you give different responsibilities to supervisors, saying a supervisor has to do this, has to observe and everything and make sure it's all safety, or a punishment or whatever, like giving those different responsibilities makes it easier to constantly keep safety as a priority.
And also they talked about in there that when somebody knew that they were being watched, they acted differently. And so they've got to do a way to be able to get around that of people being watched, and so they act different. They need to have something that's an everyday activity.
I guess create a buddy system.
Yeah, that'd be good. Like missionaries.
Yeah.
Every job requires 2 people.
Yeah.
Unless it's pressing buttons.
It's like that forklift accident that happened. What would happen if he had somebody walking next to him and helping keep everything clear? That would have done away with that entire accident.
Yeah.
We actually learned that in when I worked at Home Depot. There has to be one person in the forklift and one person walking with 2 flags, with the forklift like 10 feet in front and then 4 feet to the side, making sure no one's coming in through lanes or aisles, and making sure it's all safe.
That's really good.
Yeah,
Perfect. So, what do you guys think Mission Valley has done in the past to improve its safety and essentially, so what have they done to improve its safety record so much that they have so few serious injuries compared with similar companies?
I think some of the things we talked about, like painting the forklifts bright orange and having like strobe lights on top, and then using the cranes. Sounds like they've put a lot of money into things like that, and then training it, every 6 months. Some of those things.
I think it's just because they're fast to react. And the CEO has a different mindset of safety. So it's like, hey, this happened in 1988, the last fatality, whatever. Right away, they go, okay, we're going to spend $4 million on getting the system better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that just by doing more of those things will help them move towards their goal? Or do you think they need to kind of switch up their plan a little bit?
I think it's a really good, because everybody, it's kind of the culture of the business that, when you get hired on there, that it's going to be a safe environment. And I think you got to continue to grow that culture.
Perfect. So this is an awesome question. Do you guys always follow safety procedures?
No.
Not unless somebody else is watching.
And why do you think me personally, if I skip safety procedures, it's just I either want to get something done quicker by doing it not the safe way, or I just am too lazy to actually use the actual safety equipment. But why do you guys decide to not follow safety procedures?
A lot of times,
go ahead.
sorry, maybe we don't know what those are, and maybe you don't have the correct tools to do the correct jobs. I don't know if anybody's worked in the farming stuff, but there's a tool for everything. If you don't have that exact tool, then it makes it a lot harder and not nearly as safe.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it's just like, if I know what I'm doing, I guess, then I know I can skip certain safety procedures. And that's kind of, for me, it's just like, okay, this safety procedure can be skipped because I already know what I'm doing. I know how to be safe, I guess, in that situation.
Yeah, I think it just becomes laziness if you feel confident and comfortable around something. You can just kind of skip a few steps and get it done, save some time.
Yeah, perfect. So if you guys could go ahead and, I don't know how many of you have your document open, but if you guys could go to the 1992, her summary of a safety plan for 1992, it's Exhibit 11. We're going to go through some of these and we're going to see what kind of changes we would make to that. So let me know when you guys have that pulled up.
Okay, I've got it.
And which section did you say?
It's Exhibit 11. So we'll go through each item and which ones we think will help the company to its goal and which ones we don't think will help much, and then add anything to the list that we think would be appropriate.
I have one. Number 3 and number 6, it's just like, how are you supposed to publish a bi-weekly newsletter if you're only meeting on a monthly basis on safety performance?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, someone got injured last week, but we're not meeting till the end of the month.
So do you think they should add a step in there maybe to like have someone that gathers that information and then prints?
Now, for example, I worked in a machine shop for like 3-4 years. And we had a safety meeting every Monday about like what we're going to do for the week and how we're going to propose a new idea. And each week was something different that added on to last week kind of thing. And I kind of have to,
like how long were those meetings usually?
30 minutes or less. And it's because it was every week that we were able to cut down on time on the meetings.
Yeah, I see that.
So I
Looks
guess
like
that's something to add that they could do is like in each separate area that a supervisor is over, they could have a weekly safety meeting for 30 minutes or whatever.
yeah, maybe in a plant like that, with how big it is, meeting once a week, like the supervisors, maybe that would be beneficial if it's just a quick meeting to review things and your managers to make sure they bring it up and it's bring awareness to it.
So you guys would change having the rather than having them meet on a monthly basis, you'd have them meet on a weekly basis for 30 minutes. And then how often do you think it would be appropriate to have a meeting with all the employees?
Once a quarter, I'd say.
Yeah. And maybe have the managers meet with their teams briefly.
I see a lot of like as missionaries, we have the district zones and then the whole mission, and you don't get together with the mission all the time, but you have those different tiers down all the way down to the companionship. So that's kind of the way that they should be able to run it. That information comes from the president or the CEO, and then down to each group, and they should be able to portray that down to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So step 1, monitor complete implementation of recommendation on falls. Establish reporting procedure. Provide detailed tracking report. Monitor complete. I'm not even sure what that first one is trying to say.
Yeah, that one doesn't really make sense, but I do think it's important to document stuff just so you can keep track of it and how often it's happening. And so documentation and tracking it is very important.
And then second one, conduct stage 3 training for all supervisors and lead operators. Whatever stage 3 training means, but do you guys feel like that's important?
Yeah, it is. It's just how, I guess it's just how often that's happening. You know, I don't know how intense stage 3 training is, but I guess
Right.
if it's happening once or twice a year or quarterly.
And one thing I think number 4 says improve safety committee operations, better information, train committee leaders at crew level. I feel like that's super vague. I don't know if you guys think the same thing. Like better information, like better information on what's actually happening, or how do you guys think they can improve safety committee operations?
You could do it through the newsletter, I guess. Like the information that's being held or that's coming across as new safety procedures that each employee gets the handout, I guess.
Or have information in the break rooms that they can be able to see every day and have that just repetition always out there and always information.
Something
Yeah,
that my company used to do was we had like the HR person come do surveys and ask us like what we were missing, like, and if we could improve better upon any safety items.
yeah, asking for feedback and stuff is important. It's good.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything different you guys would do?
Some that Megan said reminded me of the machine shop that I worked at. We had the HR lady who was there all the time, but they actually hired part-time an HR person outside the company who didn't really know a lot about the company, but came in and just watched safety procedures and seeing if we're being followed, kind of thing, and asking employees questions and stuff. So it's
That's
more of an
interesting.
unbiased. Yeah, so it was more of an unbiased result.
Hire an outside consultant.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, and so what do you guys think you would apply from this case? Something that you learned about, something you learned from our discussion you'd apply to future workplaces.
I learned that the slowing down like the forklifts that actually causes us to be more productive. Sometimes I feel like I rush a lot, having I got to get the job done. But then if we just slow it down and get things correct, then greater things happen.
Yeah, and I just learned when the CEO, I think he kind of surprised a lot of other people in the same industry when he said safety was the number one like agenda item for them. And so it shows, you know, he put the emphasis and the resources into improving it.
Like kind of from the top down, sort of
Trickled down,
example, yeah.
Yeah, he made it a priority. And
I would say making things more formal. Just because it seemed like this company was lacking it. How they did more of like just word of mouth type verbal warnings, but they didn't do more written up type of scenarios and said like, this is what happens after so many or something.
Yeah. It seems like if it's something that's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not quite passive, but if it's not on the forefront of their mind and they're not being reminded often, like every 6 months, being reminded about safety, it's really easy to get casual and not very serious about it. And then all of a sudden someone dies and it's like, holy crap, we could literally die at our job. So I thought that was a really interesting way to start an article.
Yeah.
You read the first paragraph, it's like, and this person worked here and his family all works here. And then this happened and he died. And I was like, wow, that's starting it off pretty
It's only
heavy.
gonna go get deeper
Yeah.
from here, huh?
Yeah. Perfect. So how would you guys, and I don't ever remember doing this in other discussions, but how would you guys rate the overall quality of today's discussion from 0 to 10?
Super.
I'm gonna give it a good 9, a solid 9. I think it was a great
Nice.
discussion.
Yeah.
What did I do as a discussion leader that you guys liked?
I like that you know the topics, you know what you're kind of going after. It's kind of hard sometimes when it's scattered or you're not given feedback on the answers and things. So you do good with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was good that you were prepared.
Prepared with the numbers, ready to roll.
Made the questions clear and understandable.
Yeah.
And then what do you think I could do better next time?
Try to get the whole group here.
I don't think there wasn't anything you could improve on.
Nice. So did any of you guys, when you were a leader, have this part?
No.
Yeah, I just skipped it.
Yeah, I was kind of at the end.
I skipped that part too.
Oh, sorry. I should have skipped it. Yeah, I was like, I don't remember rating the discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, briefly, let's just, I'm going to pull up our Google Drive document that Quincy shared. And
We've got several people that have filled out. It's looking okay. We just have to. Did everybody get it last
It
week?
does have to be 3,500 words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one more. I need to kind of refine it a little bit. I've got one solution in there. Just need to get the other
So,
one.
like, don't be worried, write as much as possible, because last time we had a lot, but it was still only 2,500 words.
Okay.
Given the intro and conclusion we're missing, but
And who
okay, yeah.
who wants to turn it in, or do we have a person assigned for that?
Since Andrew's the group leader, then he has to turn it in.
and it's just the email.
that's
Yeah,
Did you know you guys signed up for that?
I think that was sprung on Adam last time too. It's
Yeah.
like group leader that week turns it in.
Yeah, because the last time I had to do the whole entire sexual harassment policy, and then I had to do the doohickeys paper.
Oh yeah, you were thrown to the fire there a little bit.
Yeah, it's all good.
So it looks like we have an assignment. Looks like everyone put their name next to something though.
Yeah.
So if everyone does their part, then we should be fine.
Something else he said is that we have to have like up to 12 references.
Oh, really?
I've got one in
Yeah,
there.
it's some like 10 to 12. So like, just try to find as much information as you can, I guess.
Oh,
Or
okay.
reference something.
And then we just put references down at the bottom there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is due Saturday at 11 p.m.
No, it's due
I think
Monday in the morning.
Monday at 8
9.
a.m. Mountain Time.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Well, is there anything else you guys want to discuss when it comes to the paper? Or?
So when do you?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, just when do you want like our final draft to you by?
It's by Saturday night would be good.
Saturday, okay.
Yeah, I don't mind editing it on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, I can
I
get it done.
apologize for last time we did it. I was crazy busy and excuses, but
Yeah, no, jury duty, man. Federal.
oh, it was crazy.
Around.
Did you convict him?
Yeah, he was definitely guilty.
Oh, dude. Are you allowed to talk about that after you do that or no?
Yeah, it's all public. The whole trial, everything's public after.
Okay, really quick, Quincy. What was it and why did you convict him guilty?
It was a murder case.
What?
And so it was just a birthday party for a guy. Confrontation happened. The guy's birthday, he pulled a gun on another guy and shot him 3 times. And there was like 12 witnesses of it. And it was about 24 hours when the cops showed up, but the guy disposed of the body somewhere. And then the body never got found. This was back in 2014.
Okay.
And then then he went to jail and started bragging to his inmates about doing it before he was even had his sentencing or anything. So all of the inmates and stuff came and testified against him. So it was
criminals are the smartest people alive.
Oh yeah.
Man,
where was it?
It was Fort Hall. Was where that happened. Fort Hall. That's near Pocatello.
Oh, okay. Man.
Dang, I've never met anyone that was a jury on a murder case. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was an experience, that's for sure. I felt bad because I usually like to keep up on all my homework and really like put my fourth effort into it. But I was in court from 6 o'clock or from 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night, and then I had an hour drive each way because it's a.
No worries, man. You were good. You got it done.
I felt bad, so I gotta step up for the.
You should write a Law and Order episode, Quincy. Cool.
So I was just gonna say, with the doohickeys paper, when you turn it in, you're supposed to grade all of us. C, D, F.
I gave everyone A's last time, except for the person that did not do their part.
Yeah, I'll put in a good word with the big man.
Sounds good.
And then Quincy, do you want to be the group leader next week?
Yes, I will.
Perfect.
I haven't done it yet, so.
Cool. All right, thanks, guys.
Cool, guys. Have a good night.
We'll see you.
Yeah.